Okay guys, so in today's video we will be seeing types of support systems. Now today's lecture will be fairly simple for you guys to understand. I have seen many students getting confused even in their senior years regarding the types of supports. So in today's lecture we will be seeing types of supports in beams. Starting off, first type of support is fixed support. Now again I will try that, if possible I will show some pictures of actual support from online. If I'm able to find out, I'll definitely plug it in inside the video. Now first we will be seeing fixed support. Now fixed support is generally shown by a symbol like this. It is basically a vertical line with some inclined lines shown like this. Now don't bother about this is nothing, just it is a section to show that there may be anything over here. There may be more supports, or this beam might be continuous on this side as well. So don't bother about this, just focus on the support. Now starting off with fixed support. Now as the name suggests, fixed, the support is fixed. Now let's start the explanation. For example, if you try to push the beam in the right hand side by applying a force like this, okay, then if at this joint, if at this end there is a fixed support, then this beam won't move towards the right. Why? Because there is a fixed support. There will be a reaction initiated inside the joint or support, which will be in the opposite direction of the force imposed. Basically, if you try to if you try and apply a force which is towards the right hand side, then a reaction will be generated inside the fixed support, which will be opposite in direction, and hence it won't allow the support to move or translate in the horizontal direction. Same goes in the vertical direction. For example, if I if there is a force applied on this joint in the vertical direction like this, then you can't expect the fixed support to transcend in the vertical direction. Why? Because there will be a reaction generated inside the fixed support, which will be imposing the force applied. Now let me show the forces applied in red so you won't get confused. These are the forces applied, and these are the reactions generated. So basically, in mechanics, most probably you will be coming with forces which are linear and moments. These are the only two forces which you will come across. Now for example, we have applied the linear forces, one in horizontal direction and one in vertical direction, but until now we aren't able to move or displace this joint. Now we will try to rotate this joint. If I apply, for example, a force in a form of a movement in a clockwise direction over here, then at this joint a reaction will be formed which will be in the opposite direction of the force initiated. So if you try to translate means what? Means move. If you try to move or translate this support, fixed support, then it won't allow you to translate itself. That means it won't move in horizontal or vertical direction. Now if I apply some rotational force, that means if I apply a moment, then also it won't rotate. Why? Because a reaction is formed inside the support which is in the opposite direction and which is opposing the force basically applied. So in the nutshell, you can say wherever you see a fixed support, three forces you can expect: one in the horizontal direction, one in the vertical direction, and one in the form of a movement. So basically, if I want to state the fixed support, then the statement will go something like this: that it is a support which won't allow translation nor rotation about any axis. Now coming towards the second support, which is hinged support. Now hinge you have seen hinges on doors, right? If you remember, then you can apply force and rotate the door along a hinge. For example, if this isn't a beam, this is a hinge, you can apply some push over here and you can rotate the door on the point of hinge, but you can't displace the door from the hinge. Now let's see in simple terms when applying two beams. If for example I apply some force towards the right hand, sorry, let me use red for the force is applied. If a force is applied like this in the towards the right direction, then a reaction will be generated inside the hinge which will be in opposite direction like this, and this force won't be able to move the hinge or translate the hinge because there is a reaction formed inside the hinge which is in the opposite direction of the force applied. Now we have gone and tried to displace the hinge horizontally. Basically, whenever it comes to support, the most basic thing you can do is you can apply forces. You can apply three type of forces. One is horizontal, one is vertical, and one in the form of moments. If you do this, if you apply these three forces around any joint, the explanation or the understanding of those supports will become easier for you. Every support we will try to basically apply these three forces, and basically we are not here to mug up things, right? We are here to understand that why are the reactions coming out of any support. So on every type of support, what we will do is we will apply these three forces and see what is the behavior of the support when these three forces are applied. So we have seen the behavior of a fixed support. Now we will apply the same forces and see the behavior of a hinge support. In the hinge support, as you have seen, if a force applied in the horizontal direction towards right like this, a reaction is generated inside the hinge which is opposite to the direction of force applied. If I were to apply a force towards left, then a reaction will be generated in the hinge which will be toward right. Fair enough. Now we have applied one type of force. Now we will apply other type. Basically we will change the direction of the force. We will apply a force in the vertical direction. Let's see what happens. If I apply a vertical force in the downward direction, then a reaction is generated inside the hinge in the opposite direction. That means the hinge is not allowing its displacement in the vertical direction as well. Same if I am about to, if I try to pull this support or this beam in the vertical direction, then due to this hinge there will be a reaction generated which will be in the opposite direction of the force applied in the vertical direction, and hence once again we won't be able to translate this hinge in either horizontal or vertical direction. Now what is the third option left? Third option is moment. For example, if I come here and I try to twist the beam around this hinge, I apply a moment over here like this, then you will be shocked that there is no moment reaction generated inside the hinge. What does this mean? This means zero. The value of moment is zero. So the reaction will not be present there. In case if you apply a moment on a hinge, there will be no reaction generated. That means what? If you apply a moment over hinge, then this whole beam will take its new position like this. Basically you will be able to rotate the beam on the point of hinge. So in a nutshell, if there is a hinge, then there are two reactions bound to generate if the forces are applied. One will be in the horizontal axis, one will be in the vertical axis. Again you can go ahead and calculate the resultant of the two forces, but that is obvious. So there will be no moments generated in a hinge. Simple enough. if it is a door, now you can come to the conclusion that if it is a door, you are able to rotate the door on the hinge, but you are not able to translate or to move the door from the point of hinge. Why? Because there are forces generated or reactions generated in opposition to the forces applied. Now coming to the third type of support, which is nothing but a roller support. Now again the funda will be same. We will be applying three types of forces on the joint or support and see how it behaves. Now roller support is nothing but a hinge support, basically on wheels. Now while coming to roller support, if again starting with the three main heroes that we have over here in mechanics, that is forces. If we apply these forces over here, and we will basically the support will itself tell us that how is it going to react. For example, if I come over here to this beam and try to push it in the vertical direction, then because it is a roller support, it will give a reaction which is opposite to the direction of the force applied. Sorry, this is the force applied again in the red one, and this is the reaction generated. So again, if I am here and I am trying to pull the beam in the upward direction, then a reaction will be generated inside the roller support, which will be in the opposite direction, which is downwards like this. Fair enough. Now if I applied the second type of force, basically the horizontal force, if I apply a horizontal force like this towards the right, now what will happen, because this is on roller, this is on wheels, it will move, right? It will, if you apply, this is a force applied, there won't be any reaction generated in the horizontal direction, that it will be zero like this. So basically now what will happen, like in the hinge support, when you applied a rotation, the whole beam rotated about the hinge. Same thing, like same concept if you apply here, because there is no force generated, no reaction generated in the horizontal direction, then what will happen, this roller will move. If you apply a force towards the right hand side, the roller will move towards the right hand side. If we contradict this, if we apply a force towards the left hand side, then what will happen, this support, this roller support will move towards the left hand side like this. But again, you won't be able to translate it in the vertical direction. You will be able to translate though it in the horizontal direction, because there are rollers. So you will be able to translate it in the horizontal direction, but translation in the vertical direction is prohibited. Now coming to the third hero, if we apply moment about this roller support like this in the clockwise direction, then the reaction won't be generated. Basically roller is nothing, as I said, a hinge on wheels. So if I try and apply a moment towards this roller, then the whole beam will be rotated like this. It will rotate. If you rotate in clockwise, it will rotate in clockwise direction. If you rotate in anti-clockwise, it will come in anti-clockwise direction. So if we want to state the roller support, then we can give the statement that in roller support, the translation is restricted in one direction and the rotation is not restricted, basically in only one direction. Now depending on the position where the roller is placed, the direction may be horizontal or vertical. It is not necessary that always you will get a vertical reaction. If the roller is supposed to be placed like this, there is a vertical wall for example, and a roller is placed like this, then if you try to push or pull it in the vertical direction, then the roller will be happy to move in the vertical direction. but if you try to push and pull in the horizontal direction, then a reaction will be generated. In a nutshell, you can say that wherever the point of the roller is directed towards in the same direction, like in the same axis, you can say you will be getting the reaction. For example, if this point is pointed in the vertical axis, then the reaction will be along the vertical axis. If the point of the roller support is towards the horizontal axis, then the reaction generated will be in the horizontal direction. So in the nutshell, you can say that if there is a roller support present, then only one reaction will be generated inside the roller support. Now coming towards the fourth support, which is nothing but a free support. Now, as the word suggests, free support means there is no support. Basically, if you go ahead and try to push this, for example, if I name this point A, and if you are here and trying to push the point A in the right hand direction, then A will be happy to move towards the right direction and acquire a new position A dash. If you are here and you are trying to push the point A in the left hand direction, then A will be happy to move and it will acquire a new position A double dash, like that. Same goes in the vertical direction. If you try to give the point A a new direction by applying a force in the vertical direction, the point A will move happily. If you try to rotate the point A, then again the beam will rotate happily. Basically, if there is a free support, then there are no reactions generated. And if you want to state the free support, then we can put a statement like there are no restrictions towards translation and no restrictions towards rotation in case of free support. Now once again, let's summarize all the four types of supports, and by the definitions of these supports we will go ahead and define the types of beams to simplify our work. First, we started with fixed support. So if you want to give the statement to the fixed support, then you can state something like this, that a fixed support is a support which won't allow translation in any direction and won't allow movement as well, won't allow rotation as well. In hinge support, you can go ahead and state it as the hinge support is a support which won't allow translation in both the direction but will allow rotation about axis. Now if you go ahead and want to state the statement for the roller support, then you can state like a roller support is a support which will allow translation in only one direction and rotation about the axis. Like, or you may also contradict the statement like it will generate a reaction towards the translation in one direction and it will be free to move in the other direction and it will be free towards rotation. Now coming to the free support, you can state that free support is a support which will allow translation in any direction and rotation in any direction as well. So I hope you guys are clear about the types of supports. If you have any doubts, then please do let me know in the comment section. I will try to answer it out. Thank you. Okay guys, so now we have seen the types of supports in beams. Now we will define some types of beams. Now here you need not apply more brain because it's fairly simple. Types of beams, we are just stating some types of beams. First comes a simply supported beam. If there is a hinge and a roller, then you can define the following beam as a simply supported beam. If you can even change the position of hinge and roller. For example, over here where I have shown a roller, if a hinge is there, and over here where I have shown a hinge, if roller is there, then also it will be called as a simply supported beam. Coming towards the second type of beam, which is overhanged beam. Now it sees something like this. If you extend the part of any side of a simply supported beam or other type of beam, overhang is present, then it is known as overhanged beams. Basically you are just classifying the types of beams. Then comes the cantilever beam. Now cantilever beam will be having a fixed support towards one end and a free support towards the other. This is the cantilever beam. Now coming to a propped cantilever beam. Now if you go ahead and add a hinge or a roller on the free end of a cantilever beam, then it is called as propped cantilever beam. Now coming towards continuous beam. If you go ahead and make a beam out with the combination of the above beams, then what you will get is a continuous beam like this. There are, for example, over here you can see there is a propped cantilever. This part is a propped cantilever beam. This part is a simply supported beam. Again, this part is a simply supported beam. So this becomes a continuous beam. I hope you guys are now cleared with the types of beams and types of supports of beams. Okay, so guys, I hope you understood the concept of types of beams and types of supports of beams. If you did like the video, then please leave a thumbs up to this video, and if you have any doubts, then please leave it in the comment section below. I will try to solve each and every one of your doubts. On this channel you may also expect videos on SFDs, BMDs and more concepts. So guys, please subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell notification icon so that whenever a new video is uploaded on this channel, you will get a notification out of it. Thank you once again guys, and all the best.